Are you hungry? Of course you're hungry. And Daddy's on Main Street in Clarion is ready to tackle that hunger for you. Serving amazing food since 2008, Daddy's has been Clarion's go-to stop whenever hunger strikes. Whether it's a good old-fashioned hot dog or hamburger, a salad, or something from their rotating chef's menu. Yes, I said rotating chef's menu. Daddy has you covered. You can order ahead by calling 814-223-4687 or come on in and dine in. Have a big event you are catering? Daddy's can do that too. Like Daddy's on Facebook at Daddy's Clarion and stop in today. You won't be disappointed.
Hi, Chris Rossetti here from D9and10sports.com. I wanted to take a second to tell you about one of the best restaurants in all of Western Pennsylvania, the Allegheny Grill in Foxburg, PA. With indoor and outdoor dining, you can enjoy prime rib all weekend long, or perhaps it is their full wings served on Thursday wing nights that you're after. From celebrating a special occasion to hanging out with family and friends, the Allegheny Grill in Foxburg is the place to be. As they like to say, you come for the food and you stay for the view. Reserve your table today at AlleghenyGrill.com.
What's the recipe for surprising the kids, treating yourself, and ditching dish duty?
I don't know what that was.
Good afternoon, evening, whatever it is, Jess. It all just rolls into one. I'm Chris Rossetti. He's Jess Quinn. This is the QR code. Coach's Chalkboard breaking down the KSAC championship games. KSAC championship winners, Clarion Limestone on the boys' side, and Red Bank Valley defending its championship on the girls' side. And Jess, first and foremost, let's start with that Clarion Limestone game against Karn City, and that was a back and forth affair. CL had the lead, then Karn City took it late, and then Alex Painter stepped up, gave the Lions the lead back, and then again late, Jack Callan played fantastic down the stretch for CL. But what did you see in that game?
Well, I'll tell you what. I want to go first back to my prediction. I was wrong. I predicted, from the games that we saw the other night, I would have thought that Karn City was definitely the favorite. They came in, but I tell you what, a gutsy performance by that the whole Clarion Limestone team. It wasn't one person. It wasn't that one person came in and took over or anything, but you looked at, like you said, Jack Callan, you look at Alex Painter, and you look at the defense that Jordan Hesden played was amazing. He really did a nice job for the CL Lions tonight. And really, what a gutsy performance by everybody. Ty Rankin stepping up. And I tell you what, who really, in my opinion, played really well was Jack Craig. I thought he stepped on in the absence of Jace Ferguson. They got a lot of play, and Logan Lutz. All these guys really, it takes 3 or 4 guys to replace one, but they really played great team basketball tonight, Chris.
Yeah, and Alex Painter is a senior, not a guy that you were talking about at the beginning of the year. And yet, after Jace Ferguson went down hurt, he's really stepped his game up and played a crucial role in what they've been doing.
Well, you know what's funny? In my notes, that's what I said. And I had all those guys listed: Logan Lutz, Ty Rankin, Alex Painter. They have all stepped up. Tommy Smith doing what he does. Like I said the other night, he doesn't wow you in the scorebook, but he does all the little things. He gets steals, he gets loose balls, gets it to the people. Jordan Hesden is just a solid player. It takes team basketball to win, and that's exactly what we saw tonight.
Talking a little bit with assistant coach Patrick Craig after the game, and he just didn't have enough good things to say about Alex Painter, where he's come as a player. I had a chance to talk to Alex after their win, after their championship, and here's what he had to say on the Daddy's in Clarion interview. Daddy's in Clarion, it's on Main Street. You never have to worry about what you're dishing out when you go to Daddy's on Main Street in Clarion. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Daddy's Clarion. Here's Alex Painter.
Alex, first of all, how does this feel right now?
It feels great. I mean, we've been working the whole season for this, and to be here, it's awesome.
This is Alex Painter, by the way, folks, on the Daddy's in Clarion post-game interview. Alex, you guys had the lead, then they took it back off of you, and then you hit a shot, and that sort of seemed to stabilize things in the last couple minutes. What do you remember from that?
Well, they were just going on a run, and I got the ball. I had a little space, so I was feeling good.
It seems like since Jace Ferguson went down, that you felt like you maybe had to step up a little bit. Have you felt that?
Yeah, definitely.
Talk about where your confidence is right now.
Well, when Jace was on, I mean, he's a great asset. I mean, point guard. So with him down, it was definitely tough, but I just felt like I needed to step up myself. And
To see some of the other younger kids, the Jack Callens, the Jack Craigs, even Logan Luke's had a big basket tonight. What's it like as a senior to watch those younger guys come up big in big games like this?
it's awesome. I mean, being with them the whole year, practicing with them, I mean, we've all become close. It's awesome to see them out there.
How much confidence does this give you guys going into the district playoffs?
A lot, yeah.
That was Alex Painter of the Clarion Limestone Lions after the Lions win the 2023 KSAC title. And 7 or 8 of them under Coach Joe Ferguson now. Just does Joe Ferguson get talked about among the really good District 9 basketball coaches enough?
You know what, Chris, for a lot of years, this is what I've heard about Coach Ferguson is, you know, when you have that much talent, we're talking, you know, you go back to RJ, you go back to both Legan boys, Julian, who I saw tonight, said hello to him, all the Callens, you know, your Rankins and things like that. And there was always a knock, you know, oh, well, he's got the talent, he's going to win, he's got the talent. I tell you what, this is probably one of the sweeter KSAC championships he's won, because he did it when he doesn't have a 6'5" Callen or, you know, a Rankin or somebody like that. He just has 5 guys who are really 6 or 7, maybe coming off the bench, who are really, really hungry, who listen to instruction, who take the constructive criticism, go out on the floor, do it to the best of their ability, and you see what happens. They win a championship.
Yeah, you look at this CL team, and I'm not sure that any of the players on it, even when Jace Ferguson is healthy, I'm not sure any of the players on it you'd say that basketball is their number one sport. Maybe Riley Klingensmith.
Right.
But besides that, it's not a team that's made up of what you call just pure basketball players, where in the past it was kind of the knock on CL's other sports was that their basketball players weren't playing other sports. They're all better athletes in other sports than they are in basketball, but they really seem to gel as a team this year.
And, you know, we talk about that all the time, Chris. You know, when you gel as a team, especially right now, heading into the playoffs, most important time. But if you look at it, 5 guys, 6 guys, 7 guys, when they're on the floor together, is so incredibly important. They know where they're at. They depend on each other. They trap well together. They find each other on offense. They do all the little things that they need to do. They're not, like I said, you know, they're not going to wow you. You're not going to come out here and see a guy shooting threes, left hand, right hand, doing, but they do all the little things that they need to do to win. And in the end of the day, you put that check mark in the win column.
Yeah, and then you take a team that loses a Jace Ferguson, and, you know, you're thinking, okay, they're going to have to take a step back. Obviously, he was their best all-around player. They did. They lost to 18 to Karn City just a week ago or so at Karn City. What did they do tonight to change it around? What was their Pizza Hut recipe for success tonight? And again, nobody on Pizza Hut, pizzahut.com, and Clarion and Grove City, 2 of their locations.
Well, really what they did is they put a lot of pressure on the ball. They weren't going to let Tate Bailey get out and beat them from beyond the arc. They really put a lot, and Painter was involved playing defense on him. Also, Micah Rupp, who did some really good things inside the paint. Jack Allen was on him. And I thought, you know, early on in the game, CL got into foul trouble, and Karn City really took advantage of them inside with Peters and with Rupp. But the key to it was they never let Tate Bailey really get into a role like we saw him play the other night when he had a really, really big game for Karn City Gremlins against Clarion. Tonight, he just wasn't able to do that. And that, you know, you got to tip your cap to the defense and the scheme that Clarion Limestone came out with.
Now, both of these teams move into the District 9 playoffs. They're both in Double-A. Clarion Limestone is a 2, Karn City's the 3. That means they're on a line where if they hold serve in the playoffs, not a guarantee, but if they hold serve in the playoffs, that they would meet again in a 4th meeting. Do you see either of them being a favorite if they get to that point?
I don't, because Chris, I saw Karn City as almost a clear favorite, to be honest. Tonight, you know, looking at what they did the other night against Clarion, how CL played against Union. You know, Union could have easily won that game, and then, you know, CL is out of the title game. But, you know, I'd almost flip a coin, to be honest, you know, because you got to come back. You know, Keppel's a good coach. He's going to look at the film. He's going to say, what did CL do this time that just a week ago they weren't able to do without Jace Ferguson? Because, you beat them big without Ferguson, but then you lose to them without Jace Ferguson. So, he's going to come back. He's going to look at the film. He's going to try to find ways to get Tate Bailey more involved in the offense if and when they meet in the playoffs.
Look, so when we come back, we'll break down Red Bank Valley's win over Montauk in the KSAC Girls Championship. And you're watching the QR Code Coach's Chalkboard on the YDL Sports Network.
For residential and commercial construction services you can trust, call Delta Contracting and Design Incorporated in Strattonville today at 814-764-5506. Or if it's concrete and excavating work you need done, then call Ace Concrete and Excavating at 814-764-5551. More on both Delta Contracting and Design and Ace Concrete and Excavating can be found at delcondesign.com. That's DELCON design.com. Looking for affordable auto, home, and life insurance? Look no further than Allstate Insurance, the David Jones Agency in Clarion and Meadville. At the David Jones Agency, you get personalized attention from someone who lives where you do. The David Jones Agency meets you where you are. They are available during regular business hours, Monday through Friday at their office, via appointment at the office after hours, or remotely. The David Jones Agency also offers investment opportunities, including annuities and IRAs. The David Jones Agency can be reached in Clarion at 814-223-4000 and in Meadville at 814-337-5107. Buying, selling, or building a home? Then call Burford and Henry Real Estate today at 814-227-7355. For more than 15 years, Burford and Henry Real Estate Realtors have been ready to help you in your next property search. They are also the #1 agency selling more homes in the region than anyone else. And with their Showcase Homes divisions, their expert consultants can help you with building the home of your dreams. Check out Burford and Henry online at burfordandhenry.com. Burford and Henry Real Estate Services, something different.
Back here on the QR Code Coach's Showdown, Coach's Chalkboard. We should have called it the Coach's
Showdown.
That'd have been a better name, I think. Coach's Chalkboard. Chris Rossetti here along with Jess Quinn. Jess, breaking down the KSAC Girls Championship game. Red Bank Valley just kind of rolled right past Montauk. Third time they've beaten them this season, twice in the last week.
I tell you what, I was really expecting a little bit better game. It was kind of close through the first quarter. Looking at things, but you're in a championship game. Nobody really wanted to make a mistake, but shots were falling. And then all
3
of a sudden,
of 18 in the first half for Montauk.
Right. And against a fair team, you'd be struggling, right? But against a really good team like Red Bank, you gotta shoot a little bit better than that. But to be honest, it wasn't until Rearick hit a 3 and it kind of got Red Bank Valley relaxed. I think she had the first 5 points in the game, but the 3 was big for her confidence, but also for the confidence of the team. You could see it. They settled down, and then they got out and started to run. And from there, it was over from that point on.
Yeah, the talent just took over.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. Was talking to another coach who was watching the game, and he was talking a little bit about how much they were switching their defense as Red Bank was on Montauk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily something we've seen a lot of from the Lady Bulldogs. But now we're getting into that crunch time, and now you start showing them maybe a little bit more of what you've been practicing because now the games start to mean a little bit more.
Well, you always say it's like you can't take timeouts with you at the end of the game, right? You got to use them up. Same thing. If you're practicing a defense to use it in the playoffs, you better use it. And right now, I think that's key for Red Bank because they've been sitting in a 2-3 zone most of the year, and they're very good at it. They're very active, but teams are going to break that down. Okay, teams are going to come out, especially the good ones. You get deep in the playoffs, you get the PIAA state rounds. They're going to set a screen on Miley Harmon, who from somebody coming up, it's going to have somebody open on the wing. They're going to shoot. So you have to have something else. Come back with a 3-2. Come back to a 1-2-1 or 1-3-1. Come back to man because obviously Red Bank is deep enough. They're aggressive enough that they have enough players who are skilled and defensively sound that you could do that.
Maybe the most impressive part, there was a point late in the first half. You look out on the court, and it's 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores. And it just, they just keep going. They just keep going down into the well and just keep bringing them up right now. And, to see young players play prominent roles in big games like this. As a coach, how proud would you be of those players?
Oh my goodness, it's huge. It's huge. Not only for the future of the program, but for right now. I was talking to my very good friend, Coach Keystone, Andy Tracer, and we just said, they're just so deep, and they just keep coming at you, coming at you, coming at you. You think you take 3 starters off the floor and put in 3 bench players, they're just as good, Chris. I mean, they are just as good. They can shoot from the outside, they can handle, and they play great defense. The 3 things that you need to have. But in particular with your question, you look out there and they're so young. The youth is just, it's amazing. And they don't play young. They play like they have a lot of experience. And that, to me, is the key to their success.
Well, this is a team that's very experienced in that regard. This was the 3rd year in the last 4. Obviously, there was 1 year where they wasn't a KSAC championship game. They've been in the KSAC title game. They had North Clarion on the ropes, Olivia Huffman's freshman year. They won last year. They won again this year. I had a chance to ask Olivia Huffman about that after the game on the Daddies in Clarion interview. Again, go to Daddies on Main Street in Clarion, where you never have to worry about what you're dishing out for dinner. They've got a chef choice menu. They've got their regular menu with wings and burgers and all that stuff. And they just added a bunch of new wing flavors. I had a couple of them for Super Bowl Sunday. They were fantastic. And check them out online at facebook.com/Daddies Clarion. And here's Olivia Huffman on that Daddies in Clarion interview. Here with Olivia Huffman on the Daddies in Clarion post-game interview. Olivia, you've won 2 of these in a row. What does this mean? Is either one of them more special than the other?
No, I think each year, every time with a different team, it's very special with the group of girls we have. But this year, I just feel like we're a very tight-knit group of girls, and we just do what we have to do. And, yeah.
You've played Montauk 3 times, 3 kind of different games. That first game, they had you on the ropes. That second game, you were able to turn them over a lot, but it was still a close game going into the 4th quarter. Tonight, it just didn't feel like after a while that it was ever really close and the outcome was in doubt. What was the game plan going in? Was it anything different than last Friday night?
No, they're just a great team, and we were so hyped for this game. We were ready. It's we have advantage on the college court with me throwing the long passes to Miley, so we get out there, go fast, do different rotations, put everyone in, just make them tired, and that's exactly what we did.
Obviously I had an opportunity to talk to Kaylin yesterday, and then to see her come out tonight and hit 3 of those big 3-pointers, especially in that first half. How big of a lift is that when you're knowing you're getting second and third dairy? It's not really a word, but secondary and third dairy scoring.
It's great. She's been a little down on herself lately because she's not playing the role that she used to, but she steps up so much in defense this year. But it's great for her to be hitting her shots, and it uplifts not only herself, but then when she's hype, everyone else is hype.
Just being able to keep your focus through this season. You knew you guys were going to be the favorites. So far, you've been able to hold Chalk, but it's not done yet. How do you continue to hold that focus?
We just go in like it's like a target on our back, and we just want to give it our all because you never know when it could be our last game. So,
Jess, I thought a couple of the real keys there were just how do you keep your focus?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're as good as Red Banks girls are, and you're playing and you go through the slog of the regular season, sometimes it can be a tough thing to keep that focus. They did a really good job most of the year, and now they seem to be starting to lock it back in.
I think they really are. They're focused. One of the things that Olivia Huffman just said is they were really hyped for this game, not just because it's a championship, okay, but because this could be, their first step into a long journey in the state playoffs. And you have to be up. You have to be focused. And to listen to that interview, to hear what she said, talk about them being focused, being hyped, being ready for this game, and then going into the playoffs. Now, like you said, going in the district, they got to be the favorite. But their sights, without overlooking anybody, going through every single opponent they have, I think their sights are, on a state title. I mean, and to be honest, that's where you have to look. You have to think about it. We're going to win state. We're going to win state. We're going to win state. Not overlooking anybody, but knowing who you have to go through to get there. And that's what a great focus to have. That'd be fantastic.
And then, you take a look at Montauk. You've lost 3 times to them. You're going to play Countersport in the semifinals. Keystone's going to play Red Bank in the other semifinal. It looks like you're on a collision course for a 4th time. That first time we talked about it, you had them, and you just kind of couldn't hold on at the end. The last game, you were 2 of 15 from the free throw line. You turned the ball over 28 times, but you were still only down 7 going to the fourth quarter. Today, you just didn't shoot well, and you're 3 of 18. If you're Coach DR Blaster, what are you telling your team if you've got to play them a fourth time?
I just come out. We got to do what we did. Shots didn't fall, but they had open shots. They did some nice things. I think, no matter what, rebounding, second chance opportunities. If you would go back and watch this film, second chance opportunities really crippled Montauk and really helped Red Bank Valley. They got a lot of second chance points. If Montauk can get that defensive rebound, limit them to one shot, and then get out and get up the court, spread it out a little bit. They had nobody in the middle. I think right around the foul line, right around the elbows. If they could take advantage of that, draw Olivia Huffman up, and then go down to that low short block where she vacates, they're going to have some success. And that's where I would if I was Coach D.
Jess, let's take one more break. When we come back, let's do a quick 2-3 minute breakdown of the District 9 playoffs. You're watching the QR Code Coaches Chalkboard on the YDL Sports Network.
For residential and commercial construction services you can trust, call Delta Contracting and Design Incorporated in Strattonville today at 814-764-5506. Or if it's concrete and excavating work you need done, then call Ace Concrete and Excavating at 814-764-5551. More on both Delta Contracting and Design and Ace Concrete and Excavating can be found at delcondesign.com. That's DELCON design.com. Looking for affordable auto, home, and life insurance? Look no further than Allstate Insurance, the David Jones Agency in Clarion and Meadville. At the David Jones Agency, you get personalized attention from someone who lives where you do. The David Jones Agency meets you where you are. They are available during regular business hours Monday through Friday at their office, via appointment at the office after hours, or remotely. The David Jones Agency also offers investment opportunities, including annuities and IRAs. The David Jones Agency can be reached in Clarion at 814-223-4000 and in Meadville at 814-337-5107. Buying, selling, or building a home? Then call Burford & Henry Real Estate today at 814-227-7355. For more than 15 years, Burford & Henry Real Estate Realtors have been ready to help you in your next property search. They are also the #1 agency selling more homes in the region than anyone else. And with their Showcase Homes divisions, their expert consultants can help you with building the home of your dreams. Check out Burford & Henry online at burfordandhenry.com. Burford & Henry Real Estate Services, something different.
QR Code Coaches Chalkboard. It's time to break down the District 9 play. We're not going to get too deep into this. JB Graphics is going to be doing a show tomorrow night. Our good buddy Jared Bakaiza. I'm going to hop on with him. Maybe we can even get you to hop on tomorrow night, Jess, probably around 7 o'clock or so. But
that'd be fantastic.
See what's going on with Jess and some other folks and see what we can break down. But just a quick look at next week. You have the AAA championship game right out of the gate, Brookville and Montauk. It's going to be a real uphill climb for Montauk, I do believe. Is Brookville probably the best boys team in District 9?
I think they really are. I mean, they're just so skilled. They're so fast. They're athletic. They can do all the things that we talked about earlier that Red Bank can do. They can rebound. They can shoot. They play great defense. They love to run. And, that's the game anymore. You get a rebound, you get an outlet pass, and you run. They can do it all, Chris. So, I would say that they are definitely the favorite in that game.
And then, you start to look, we talked about the AA matchups on both sides. Single A, Elk County Catholic has been the best single A boys team all year, but they lost Jordan Wasco for the season in that game. Tonight, they lose they beat Ridgeway on a last second shot. There's, I guess, some video out there that might dispute whether or not the shot went in or not. I'm not there right now. I haven't seen any of that.
Right.
It's just, I know there's some thought process there, but either way, they win the game. I mean, that's always a tough call.
Right.
I'm never going to go too hard on somebody on the last second shot call. But are they the favorites in single A to win? Is there anybody that can, even with them being down a little bit, is there anybody that can knock them off?
Boy, Chris, from what I've seen, my answer, to be honest, would be no. Even though they lost, one of their best players, they still find a way, kind of like what CL did tonight. They still find a way. They're still sound fundamentally. Okay, they play great defense. They do not turn the ball over. Those are recipes for success. And to be honest, I watched a lot of single A basketball on the boys' side this year, and very typical. Want to push the pace, but a lot of turnovers from the teams that I've seen.
I think in order to beat Elk, you have to do what Ridgeway did tonight, and that's slow the pace down.
Slow it, and that's what Ridgeway's done for
just
years.
to keep the game close.
Right.
In Double A, we did talk on the one side of the bracket. On the other side of the bracket, Otto Eldred, really good. We saw them last Saturday. Are they going to get there, or can a Ridgeway slow a game down against them enough to maybe beat them? I think Ridgeway's actually they're the 6th seed, so they're on the other side of the bracket too. But you see anybody that can actually stop Otto Eldred?
I tell you what, when we did that game there last week and saw DCC in Otto, which we really anticipated would be a very good game, was close for a little bit, but then Otto just put their foot on the gas pedal. And to be honest, it wasn't really even a game after a while. Francis is a wonderful player, but he's not the only one. You got Thomas, and they move well. They find each other. So in my opinion, Chris, from what I've seen, Double A wise, my money's on Otto.
And then single A girls, is it really a 2-team tournament? Is it Otto and Elk, who played to a 4-point game early in the season? Can a North Clarion without Lily Holman, who's not eligible for the postseason, can they make a run? Can DuBois Central Catholic, last night they went up and, just didn't play very well against Elk. Is that a game where they could, they're not on the same side of the bracket as Elk, they're on the side with Otto. Can they go and beat Otto? But boy, are we really destined for an Otto Elk matchup?
I think we are. And I don't want to, downplay, the home. And we talked about that situation at North Clarion, and I never want to count them out. Coach Strawhut does a wonderful job with the She-Wolves. But had they had Homan, I would have given them a legitimate shot. DCC, from what we saw when we did one of their games, Chris, I would have said absolutely they're going to be in that, but then they go up and don't play very well the other night. And maybe, Coach Hoover can have them, rebound and come back and be ready for the playoffs. But in all honesty, I would say that we're going to be looking at Elk and, probably Elk County with coming out as crowned a title.
Yeah, and then, looking ahead, 3A on the girl side, it's Karn City versus Kane. I kind of like Karn City in that one.
I was just going to say,
although Kane's got some height that could give Karn City some trouble. Mm-hmm. And then in 4A on the boys' side, I like Clearfield to continue a run that's gone on for almost a decade now. They play a really difficult regular season schedule, although they did lose at Punxsutawney. And Punxsy's in that bracket. And I hedge my bets a little bit. They have the best player in Cole Miller. He's going to be a 1,500-point scorer, but I think he's 3 or 4 points shy of it. But man, I like what Nate Glenn has done with that program.
I was gonna say the exact thing. Coach Glenn has really, really, watching him on the sideline, boy, is he an intense coach. But it's something that inspires his kids to play with that same intensity. You know what I mean? It's very contagious. And I like the way that he handles his kids. I like the way that they buy into what he's selling. And boy, I just wouldn't be betting against them right now.
And then on the girls side, is it more of a question of how far can Punxsutawney go in the state playoffs as opposed to can they win the district title?
Yes, that's exactly right. You're looking at what Press Lloyd's been able to do. She scored
36 points last night with 9 3-pointers.
Right. So, she's on lookout, right? And she's not the only one. The Gribble girls there. You got some other players that are in the mix.
One of the things, I was talking to Sean Rhodes tonight. Sean Rhodes, for folks who might not be familiar, is the athletic director and girls basketball coach at Maplewood.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking to Sean a little bit, and he played Punxsutawney early in the season up in the Warren Court. He said one of the things that impresses him so much is that they just know where to be on the court all the time.
You know what? When this group the of Punxsutawney players right now, when they were playing as a JV squad, I mean, Pressley was playing on the varsity level, but a lot of those girls were playing JV 2-3 years ago. They knew exactly, Chris, where to be. And every fast break, you had a girl balance the court on each side, getting to the corner, getting the elbows extended, they would swing that ball so quickly and have a shot off before half your team was even down the floor. And that is impressive. And they've continued to do that into the varsity, and you see it this year, and they just know where each of them is going to be. Kind of like that Red Bank Valley team tonight. I mean, Olivia Huffman, half the time she gets a rebound, she turns, throws it, and Miley Harmon's right there to receive it and score. So I give that edge to Punxsutawney.
Well, Jess, that's going to do it for us tonight on the QR Code Coaches Chalkboard Show. Again, sponsored by Allstate David Jones Agency, Delta Contractors, and Burford and Henry and Showcase Homes. Thanks, folks. Until next week, this is Chris Rossetti saying good night for Jess Quinn.